on target.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
They're right behind me.
Almost there.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Yakima On Target. I'm your host, Sean Davido, and today I'm joined by the President and CEO of Yakima Valley Tourism, John Cooper. Thank you for joining me today.
Good to be here.
Now today we want to talk about the expansion plans, the new expansion plans for the convention center, but first let's talk about the economic impact of tourism on our valley.
Okay. Yeah, tourism for Yakima County is about a $410 million industry. It generates over $38 million in state and local taxes, and it provides around 3,900 direct jobs for our citizens throughout the region.
One of the biggest industries obviously in the valley.
It is a pretty solid industry for the Yakima Valley, and it covers a wide range of sectors within tourism. You got leisure travel, you have sports and those type of events, you have conventions and meetings and business travel. So it's a great diversified industry that helps support our local goods and services and jobs for the community.
And what would you say is the impact overall on just the city of Yakima? Let's just talk about Yakima and tourism.
Sure. Well, a great percentage of the goods and services for when visitors come here are based in Yakima. Right. Your hotels, your restaurants, your greater retail area, a lot of the attractions. While people may go out and about in the county to do things, whether it be up at White Pass or down the lower valley for going to a brewery or a winery, for most of our visitors, a good percentage, the home base is Yakima. They'll be staying the night, they'll be eating, they'll be shopping, they'll be doing local events and attractions, culture, arts. It's the hub of the industry for our county.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of tourism and the convention center. It's been around since 1975?
Well, the plans were underway in 75, and the first portion of the building was finished in 1976, and that's the center part of the building if you look at the structure. And there were additions happening after that. In 1996, the north expansion occurred, and then about 18 years ago in 2002, the south addition was added on, and then the outdoor plaza was added on in 2010. So over the years, it's grown to meet the demand and the needs of not only the community, but also the meeting sector.
And that's for conventions, people to come here from out of the area and have their conventions or events at the convention center. Well,
that as well as local events.
Right.
It is a local facility as much as it is for conventions. People host their fundraisers there, educational seminars, quinceañeras. We have a number of local events occurring like quilt shows and things of that nature that not only serve out-of-town folks, but also our community.
Lots of people in the community.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the events that do come to the convention center. What are some of the big events that come to town?
Oh my, we have a number of trade show and exhibitions. The different conventions and meetings that come run the gamut.
Right.
In 2018, we have 56 conventions. Some of those are trade associations, some of them are government-related associations and conventions. We have a lot of agricultural-based meetings and conventions that come to the area. Any number of conferences, educational, there might be a military group that'll come.
Ag conferences.
Right, and agriculture. Just a wide range of associations and organizations that meet around the state. And that's the important factor is we're not a standalone facility in the sense there are other convention centers around the state that we compete with for their business.
Even close to us.
Even close to us. You've got the Tri-Cities, for example, as well as Spokane, Wenatchee, Vancouver, Tacoma. So it's a very competitive business, and to remain competitive, you've got to make sure you're providing quality services, quality facilities, and meet the needs of the groups that want to come to your town. Otherwise, you'll lose the group to another town.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about funding and how is
Yeah.
the convention center funding? It's a public facility,
Yes,
correct?
it is a public facility owned by the city in cooperation with the Public Facilities District. And the funding for the facility, whether it be for operations, expansions, and those sorts of things, come from three sources. Earned revenue,
Right.
when we rent the facility out or
To these
equipment.
groups we were just talking about.
To the groups. That's revenue earned for rentals as well as from catering. We also receive money from hotel motel taxes, and that comes from, of course, the guests staying in our local hotels.
Heads and beds.
Heads and beds, as we say in the industry. And then the Public Facilities District. Now, the Public Facilities District was formed in the early 2000s. It is a rebate of sales taxes generated in the local area that normally would go to the general fund at the state level, but the state allowed for various regions and communities to do public facilities and get a rebate credit back to fund and operate those facilities.
Right.
And so we did that back in the early 2000, 2002, 2003 for the expansion we did on the south side. And so those are dedicated funds specifically for the expansions as well as operation of the convention center. So that's where our funding comes from, those dedicated funds, and it helps to generate, by bringing visitors here, new revenue to help pay for our basic government services, police, fire, parks, roads. So that's the good part about
Just
it.
sales
So
tax revenue.
sales
More
tax
people
revenues.
Bring money into the community that's from outside the community.
Correct, and that is our purpose, and our primary goal is to help bolster the economy of the region by bringing visitors to town and generating sales taxes and supporting businesses that pay property taxes that help fund our basic government services. So we don't get funding from the general fund, but we help to create revenue for it.
Now let's talk about the need, and we're
Right.
at a point where we need more expansion to stay competitive, to get
And-
these groups.
And we've been looking at this since 2015 and looking at what the best case scenarios are given our limited resources. A number of our competitors have made significant improvements to their infrastructure as well as their hospitality services like hotels.
Right.
And when meeting planners are looking for locations, they look for a number of amenities. And the challenges that we face, there's two in particular that the addition will help to address, are groups like to meet at certain times of the year.
Right.
And the size of the convention center now is such that one group will basically use most
Fill
of the
the whole.
facilities, so they can't find the dates that they want.
Right.
The other challenge that we're faced with is that we have a number of groups that, because of their size of their events and they're doing more trade show exhibits to help cover the cost of their event, they're outgrowing our facility. So those two combined, we lost a number of groups, about a dozen of them, because they can't find the dates that they want.
Right.
And that's about a $9 million loss over a number of years. And the groups that we might lose right now because they're outgrowing the facility, that's another 10 or 12 groups.
Right.
So it'll help us to give more options for the planners as well as to assist those that are just too big for the current facility.
Right. Now, you gave some information just recently about the expansion plans.
Right.
Talk about what
Okay.
we're talking about.
The city has approved this project, and as part of that, we hired a few months ago an architectural firm based out of Spokane, ALSC. They've been around for 70 years. They have experience in planning public facilities. They've done other convention centers around the state. They were the ones that did the architectural and engineering for the north expansion at the Spokane Convention Center. And they did the original architecture plans and engineering for the Tri-Cities Convention Center. And so they were selected in the process, and they've been working on plans to meet the needs of what we have within the current footprint of space that we have and the budget that we have. Right. And so right now the planned addition will be on the north end of the center into an existing city-owned parking lot.
Right.
It will add approximately 18,000 square feet in total footprint, And of that, between 11 to 12,000 square feet of meeting space. Adding on to the exhibit hall, as well as 3 very flexible meeting rooms that are part of the concourse. So it'll really give us a lot of flexibility, and it'll allow us to run, it is our hope, run 2 smaller concurrent conventions at one time, so we can meet the needs of having events at the same time, as well as for those larger ones that need more exhibit and breakout space.
Right. Now let's talk about some of the advantages to this. To what will this bring to our community?
Well, I think it'll be very helpful in retaining the groups that we have now, as well as attracting the ones that have not been able to come in the past.
It'll bring some new people.
New people in, as well as bring back some groups that we've lost. And that, when I mentioned that it's about $11 million in lost business, that's just the direct spending of those meeting planners as well as delegates that come to town.
And a lot of that is directly in the city of Yakima.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right here
absolutely.
in town. So.
That money is spent here in town because those are people staying in Yakima hotels. Those are people going to downtown restaurants, shopping, visiting the attractions, the breweries, the wineries. Downtown does receive a good percentage of that, as well as outlying areas. But that's just the direct spending. There's the other side of the coin in that the goods and services required to help those groups and feed those groups with catering and our convention center overall. We have agreements and arrangements with over 60 local vendors to provide a variety of services, whether it be food products, beverage products, whether it be linen, equipment, repairs for HVAC, electrical, construction, well over 60 companies here locally we work with and catering work with collectively that adds another layer of economic impact because we're providing goods and services and getting services for those people.
Jobs in the community.
That's right.
Anything else? We've talked about a lot of stuff. What else do you want to cover that we haven't talked about?
Well, we're excited with what this will bring for the community, and it will also give more options for our local community to host their events too. And that's also a very important part of our business model is to have a quality facility to serve our citizens and residents. And so I think it's just going to be a great addition. Our plans are to break ground in early 2020. It'll take approximately 1 year for construction. And so in 2021, we'll have something that's going to be a great addition, not only to downtown, but all of Yakima.
Now, if people want some information about this, we'll share it at the end. How do people find this?
They can go to our website, yakimacenter.com, and that's the main site for the convention center. And they can find out all about not only the convention center in general, but also specifics about this project as it advances.
Now, if people want to know about the Yakima Valley and the great amenities that we offer here, you guys offer
yes,
too, right?
We also have a resource site called visityakima.com, and it has all the events and attractions happening in Yakima as well as in the greater Yakima Valley. So if you have friends and family coming this summer, or any time of the year for that matter.
Right now, it's beautiful
it's a great resource for finding out what there is to see and do in Yakima and the whole valley.
Yes, definitely. I think we've touched on a lot of stuff. Is there anything else that you would like to get out there to our viewers?
No, I just encourage all of you to invite your friends and family and show them what great things we have in Yakima.
And enjoy the Yakima Valley.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much for joining me today, John. And thank you for joining us on Yakima On Target. For more information about the Yakima Convention Center expansion plans, visit www.yakimacenter/edition.com or www.yccedition.com. For information about tourism in our region or events and activities in the Yakima area, be sure to visit www.visityakima.com or call 1-800-221-0751.
Stay on target.
Almost there.
Stay on target.
Right behind me. Almost there.
What?
For more information on YPAC programming, please call 575-6092.